Hi everyone, it's Ikagura Cosplay and welcome back to my channel. So today we're getting into another part of this Kira costume. And let me tell you something, Genshin Impact did not give us the most simple design to cosplay. Because now we are getting into the belt. And this belt gave me headaches because this design was so complicated and I did not know where to go and where to begin. But at the end it turned out really great and I'm going to show you today with this video. So first things first, let's start with the little flappies that she got on her waist.
J'ai ce patron qu'il faut que je fasse en 4.
And to make those 4 pieces, I choose this dark blue polyester and then I printed my pattern and I cut my fabric and I was left with this. But before sewing, I need to add gold details and I chose gold flecks. I already traced my details onto my pattern, so I needed to trace them back onto the flecks and cut those details out. And then you can iron the details onto the piece that you just cut out and you're left with this.
Là, on va prendre nos autres tissus et endroit contre envers, on va venir coudre.
Turn it inside out and iron it. Next thing is the actual belt. I placed everything on my mannequin to see where the belt needs to go. And by now you know the drill, so I use a dark blue cotton and mesh foam and I pinned everything and then sew it in place where everything needs to go.
Donc, on retire la couture là et on va glisser une plaque de mousse dedans. Comme ça donnera un peu plus de volume et ici on reviendra faire notre couture. Je pense que ça peut être pas mal. Mais comme quoi, parfois, tout se passe pas comme prévu.
So I unpicked my seam, added mesh foam and I added back the seam and it looks way better now. I also added 2 little rectangles in the front of the belt and did a basting stitch and sew it all with my sewing machine. Now that our base is done, let's dig into the nightmare of this costume.
Ceci, sachant que je suis pas très grande, cette pièce de là à ici fait 70 cm. Donc ce sera vraiment pas mal pour que ça vienne, c'est pas le bon côté, hein, c'est pas grave, pour que ça vienne comme ça.
So we are starting with this weird piece. In the main design it flares out, but it's not doable in real life. So I decided to make it a separate piece and do it the exact same step like the flappies and attach the thing now to the main piece.
Bienvenue sur mon sol. On va attaquer cette grande partie là. J'ai besoin d'espace. Mes bureaux ne sont pas assez grands pour ça. Qui est occupé par deux machines et l'autre, c'est ma coiffeuse actuellement que j'utilise en tant que bureau et il y a mon PC derrière. J'ai 3 bureaux mais pas assez de place. Donc on est rendu avec ça et il nous faut de la mousse résille. Le truc c'est que je veux qu'il m'en reste pour les bottes. Parce que pour les bottes, ce qui va se passer, c'est que je vais tout doubler avec ça.
So basically I just started cutting out everything out of the mesh foam, and for the next clip actually there was a voice, but I decided to cut it out because you couldn't hear anything, but I said that I needed to cut the same pieces as the blue fabric to make the lining.
On va retracer les parties qui nous intéressent. Là, j'ai mon patron de base et j'ai séparé cette partie-là, et cette partie-là. Et donc là, je vais couper dans chaque tissu, dans les bonnes couleurs. Là, on se retrouve avec toutes ces pièces-là. Donc le but, ça va être à la fin. Ça, on n'en a pas besoin pour l'instant. Et donc là, le but, ça va être de coudre ça comme ça. Donc là, je vais aller coudre tout ça.
After that, I pressed my seams down with my iron. I got to work onto the details. On the reference picture, she has a dark grey pattern, and I got some leftover fabric and flex from my Shenhe cosplay. So I decided to add light grey flex, add a black glittery tool, and a black tool on top of one another. Like the previous step, I cut my flex and ironed it, added my layers of tulle. To have the black outline of this part, I also used some leftover flex that I got from Shenhe. This one is actually a black velvet flex. Really hard to pull out, but really nice to look at. After everything is nice and ironed, I could move on to the diamond-shaped details. On the reference, it's not that bright, but I wanted to do it with flex that I already own and not buy a new one. And I think that the color suits the costume really well.
Donc on est déjà pas mal. Mais avant de continuer, il va falloir qu'on installe la doublure. Tac. Donc là, ce qu'on va devoir faire, c'est assembler la ceinture. Donc après avoir épinglé, tout là, je vais venir coudre. J'ai tout cousu, donc tout est ensemble là.
Actually, I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to explain here, but I'm shoving the belt that we built previously into the back part, I guess, and I'm trying to sew along the edge, so when I'm turning everything inside out, it will be like a sandwich, sort of. When I turned everything inside out, ironed it, I added some details. She has little purrs on, so I just sewed by hand little purrs. I also bought some little purrs and I wanted to put them like in the front of the belt, so this is just what I did. I sewed them in the front and it looks nice, so I'm really happy about how everything turned out.
Pouvoir s'attaquer à ces petites parties dorées ici. Donc je vais reprendre mon patron de base où j'avais déjà tracé ce que je voulais faire. Donc pour ça, je vais avoir besoin de mousse et l'idéal, enfin ce que je préfère pour faire ce genre d'empiècement, c'est de prendre de la mousse qui est déjà autocollante, on peut en trouver un peu partout. Et ça c'est cool. Et je vais utiliser du lycra lamé.
So it's pretty much the same steps as I do usually in my costume. You've already seen this in the first part of this Kira cosplay, but I use my foam, I put it onto my spandex and then I cover it with the spandex and glue, and then I just glue it in place, and this is pretty much what you have, a pretty neat detail. For the last part, we are getting into the front and the back bow. If you want to know where I got this pattern, I'll let you follow Sarah's basement tutorial about Kokomi. She speaks about a cosmic courtier tutorial. It's the same shape that I used to make my own bow. For the front bow, I put 2 layers of interfacing on one side and I added flex detail on the other. For the back bow, I did the exact same thing. I did flex details and I didn't use interfacing but mesh foam. It gives a big and poofy shape and we love that. So I sewed it up by machine and I attached all the remaining pieces by hand, and here's the final look of this part. So this is pretty much it for this video. You have seen how we made the belt and the bows that go with it. But let me tell you something, this costume is not finished. And as this day when I'm talking about you and when this video is coming out, this costume is still not finished, and I can't wait to be done with it because this is one of the most complicated things that I've ever worked on. And still, I've did some other Genshin cosplay, but this one, jeez, they gave us something. So if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, like and comment this video. Don't forget to share it also with people who might be interested in it. And I'm going to see you in the next video. So thank you for watching and see you later.